வணக்கம், good evening, and உயிரினும் மேலான இனிய தமிழ் மக்களே. This is your host Venki with today's edition of Southern Spice, the only Tamil program on FM and AM radio in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state region on Radio Zindagi, 5:40 a.m. in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, 13:10 a.m. in Parsippany, New Jersey, and 96.7 FM in Edison, New Jersey. Also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube through Southern Spice USA channels, and also Facebook Live on Radio Zindagi Tri-State page. So, உங்களுக்கு பலவிதமாக Southern Spice நிகழ்ச்சியை நம்ம கொண்டு வரோம். Every Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm streaming this right out of New Jersey. The time here in the studio right now is 7:06 p.m. and it's 6:06 in Central and 5 in Mountain Time and 4:06 in Pacific. So, நேயர்களே, இன்னைக்கு Southern Spice நிகழ்ச்சியில நம்ம ரெண்டு guest. As usual, every week we bring one or two interesting guests, and இன்னைக்கும் அதே மாதிரி அந்த வரிசையில ரெண்டு ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் கெஸ்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. ரெண்டு பேருமே தமிழ் entrepreneurs, and ரெண்டு பேருமே they have gone off the beaten path and done something very very different. ஹிந்தியில ஹட்கே அப்படிமாங்க, அந்த மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் வித்தியாசமா செய்யறவங்க ரெண்டு பேருமே, and very very interesting. But before we jump into the show, நம்ம Southern Spice every week ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னால I talk about my charity organization called Punarjanmam. Punarjanmam is an organization Raghu and I started. My co-founder Raghu, who is also my first co-host, or நாங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் சேர்ந்து தான் Southern Spice ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம் 2004ல ரேடியோல, and then he moved back to India and he runs Punarjanmam in India, and I take care of the US part of Punarjanmam, which is now called Punarjanam. And we've been supporting people right from the super cyclone in Chennai 2015 எண்டில் வந்தது. அதிலிருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சு இப்போ வரையில் we've been helping people during either natural calamities or during the whole pandemic between last year and this year. And now we've expanded our operations outside of Chennai. We've gone all over Tamil Nadu. We've gone to Gujarat. We have Punarjanmam Ahmedabad. We have it in Hyderabad. We are present in the Delhi NCR region. We're also there in Pune and part of Mumbai and various other locations, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So Punarjanmam has spread all over, and we've been supporting people with groceries, medicines, and other help with getting hospitalization beds and so on and so forth. Ipo, we are also sending oxygen concentrators to help COVID patients. So இவ்வளவு விஷயம் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. punarjanam.org என்ற வெப்சைட்ல நீங்க போனீங்கன்னாக்க you can donate. You're also seeing that on the scrolling ticker in the bottom of the screen. You can either donate through PayPal or through Zelle in the US. And if you go to our website punarjanam.org, you'll see all the information. நீங்க இந்தியாலயே டொனேட் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்கனாலும் we welcome that, and the website has all the information. So on that note, நேயர்களே, thank you so much one more time for joining us, and let's jump right into the show. இன்னைக்கு முதலாவதாக I'm going to bring a guest who is நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி வித்தியாசமா ஒரு தொழில் செய்றாங்கன்னு. அவங்க பேர் என்னன்னாக்க அருணா சுந்தரம். She's in Illinois. She's in the Chicago region, and she is an esthetician, and she runs a studio called the Lash Shrink. அவங்க வந்து எவ்வளவோ பேரை வந்து அழகுபடுத்திட்டு இருக்காங்க அங்க சிகாகோல. So without further ado, let's bring Aruna right into the show. Hey Aruna, welcome to the
Hi Venki. Hi.
Nice to have you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thanks for inviting
beautiful.
me.
Thank you so much for taking this time and joining Southern Spice. Aruna, I was just telling our listeners that you run a studio in Chicago, or the suburbs or out. I don't know where exactly it is, but tell us about it. Tell us about the studio, and tell me how you got into that.
Maybe we can start with the name of my business.
Absolutely. I said that too. Lash
Yeah.
Shrink.
So I am a psychology graduate, but very
Ah,
soon I realized that I need more help than I can provide people. So I gave up that
sure.
career. And I decided, about 5 years ago when I got into this field, I was looking on Instagram for a name for just things that I wanted to do, and I just got into eyelash extensions. And I tried multiple names on Instagram. I couldn't get even one. And then I just got fed up and I said the Lash Shrink, and it just happened. So it's Instagram that made my career, I would say.
So the shrink part comes from your education of being a psychologist.
Yes, except my own therapist tells me and reminds me that I'm not a real shrink. So he just tells me, stick to your job, try not to do more than what you are supposed to.
Super. So in the lash extensions, இதெல்லாம் வந்து, is that something you took to because you just like it, you're passionate about it, or how did you gravitate towards that field?
So, நிறைய நாளா, like I've known that I like to engage with people and I like to communicate with people. And now and then, I'm the only Indian in my, or I would say in my immediate community who's not good at math. So, the choice, that choice, IT, all these things, or where accounting, அதெல்லாம் வரவே வராது எனக்கு. So now and then, I was like, how do I use my communication skills and my people
Uh,
skills in a way that I can inspire women, because that is something that I've always been very passionate about. The way I run my business is what I call the no makeup look, where I felt I was always fascinated by how you can enhance a woman's beauty
mhm.
where she still comes across in that beauty, and then just enhancing what she already has, not adding something that is not that I mean that making her look different than what her original and natural beauty is. So I looked at a lot of options, and I started off in beauty school, which to become an esthetician, which is also a fancy name for skincare specialist.
Mhm.
And very soon I realized, I am really good with mundane jobs that you don't have to think too much and you just keep going at it. I can listen to my podcast in my ears. And I was like, what is something that I can do that I can also communicate and talk with women, make them feel good? And I randomly saw someone being and doing eyelash extensions, and now and then I was like, huh? யாரு வந்து false eyelash ஒரு eyelash மேல போட்டுப்பாங்க, like what is the concept? I was so intrigued that how is that even interesting?
Mhm.
It is the impact that I have ended up having on women's confidence and the way they show up in their lives. I mean, people may think, oh, eyelash extension, what is that? It is just
Mm.
extension of your natural lash hairs. So uh, you would be surprised. It's made quite a difference in a lot of people's lives.
So eyelashes வந்து சரியா இல்லன்ட்டு நெறைய பேர் இருக்காங்க அப்படி நினைச்சுக்கிறவங்க.
So the biggest misconception is that someone who comes to me doesn't have eyelashes. They have
Mm.
to have eyelashes in order for me to work on their eyelash.
Of course, to
So,
extend it. Yeah.
so we are just enhancing what they like and
Mm.
what they have. And to be honest, I would say most of my clients are clients who love wearing mascara and like who are like doing makeup, and their
Mhm.
goal is the get up and go look. A lot of them are working women, a lot of them housewives. They're on the go, on the run. So what can they do which is minimal effort to take care of but makes a big impact in their makeup routine?
Okay, okay. So that is a niche that you found was very interesting as well as lucrative. Would you
I
call it
would
lucrative?
say because in a field like this, which is vanity based, there is no
Yeah,
recession.
very nice.
And to be honest, during the pandemic, my business kind of doubled because a lot of people now are wearing a mask. and they want their eyes to shine. So, it worked out for me somehow.
That is something really interesting. Makale, this is what I was talking about when you find these kind of interesting nuggets, when so many businesses, pandemic போது பிசினஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து குறைஞ்சு போய் நொடிஞ்சு போய் பிசினஸே இல்லைன்னு
It is
இருந்த
hard,
நேரத்துல
yes.
இந்த பிசினஸ் மட்டும் வந்து நல்லா வந்திருக்கு,
And
தழைச்சிருக்கு.
the reason for that is it's a nice to have. It's not a must have, right? So people who were able to afford it were already able to afford it, because it's vanity. So
Mhm.
it is, I mean, it is hard seeing a lot of business owners in beauty salons, they were crumbling during this time. The advantage for me is I have such a specialized field that the people who were coming to me were only interested in that one service.
Mhm. So somebody says totally agree. I guess to your point. So எவ்வளவு நாளா இது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்? How long is your business going on for?
நான் வந்து பியூட்டி ஸ்கூல் போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் வந்து I was helping this amazing business owner near my home. I was doing eyebrow threading, and வந்து in my family I was probably the only one who was not very studious. I can fake my intelligence more than my actual IQ, which you need intelligence for, by the way, also. So
Correct.
so I knew how to do eyebrow threading, and in the state of Illinois you don't need a license to do eyebrow threading. So I used to
Okay.
help her on the side to do it. And then when I decided to go to beauty school, now and I thought, I've always been fascinated by being my own boss. How can I implement a lifestyle where I can make my hours, I can decide days I want to work, and if I show up, it's because I want to be there and I want to make a change in someone's day. So as soon as I came out of beauty school, I would say 4.5 years ago, I did that Instagram search for a profile, and that's it. I went online. I said how to get an LLC. Literally, Google was my friend,
Okay.
and that's how it started. I started from my home
Mm-hmm.
in a very small scale. I had to build my clientele from scratch, so I depended a lot on word of mouth. And அதுக்கப்புறம் I realized ஒரு 1 year அப்புறம் my son and my husband both don't uh, realize I actually have a job. அம்மா வீட்ல தானே இருக்கா, அம்மா I'm hungry, அம்மா. So I said enough is enough. I'm going to go and take a studio somewhere else. I'm going to rent outside the home. Only அப்பதான் அவளுக்கு வந்து தோணும், சரி அம்மாவும் ஒரு ஜாப் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கா. It's a serious job. So that's how I moved to a studio outside my home, and it has been the best thing I've done in my life.
Nice, nice. So there's a listener or a viewer who's asking you a question. How long do the lash treatments last, and what is the process?
So like how I like to explain it to someone who's never done it before is, number one, the hair stylist and we do a root touch up if you have white hair. Some months, some weeks, it lasts way longer than some other times. And the reason for that is each of our hair on our head or our eyelash has a life cycle of its own. So I would say average growth cycle of a lash is about 6 to 8 weeks. So now basically I have specialized glasses. I isolate one of your natural lash and apply one fake eyelash onto it. So it is like literally like a super glue. So it can't just fall off. It will last until your lash sheds and your new eyelash comes. So I think a lot of people don't even know that number eyelashes when they for number kaila papa eyelash, they'll say, okay, wish panni to blow pannu and all that stuff. That is because your eyelash is shed,
Right,
So
right.
I would say average 4 weeks before a touch up. And what is a touch up? I am reattaching new eyelashes to new eyelashes of yours that have grown in.
Got it. Got it.
So it's not a one-time thing, unfortunately. You get hooked on it, it's an addiction. So I warn all my clients, are you prepared for a year-long addiction?
That's it. They keep coming back every month.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah, super.
Yeah.
Okay, so that way you start creating a regular clientele. அவங்க வந்து repeat business வந்துட்டே இருக்கும்,
But
and then you
under
keep adding new.
Yeah, and okay, so this I've been also very passionate about, and I've been educating other estheticians and lash artists. Vande, a lot of us, even in India, have gone to some salons. Oh, as far the sooner the client comes back, that is good for your business. Actually, that is not, because you will reach
No,
saturation very soon. So it is better to do a service that lasts longer,
correct,
so you
correct.
can take new clients in between. So that's how I'm able to not saturate and be able to at least take new clients every week.
Fantastic, Aruna. This is good to hear. Somebody is saying entrepreneurs rock, which I totally agree. Entrepreneurs rock completely.
There's
Now, we have another 5 to 6 minutes to go, so I wanted to touch upon what next. I know you have one salon. Are you planning to expand, or are you planning to go into a different field? And what do you want to do?
So I'm very open and honest with all my clients and my friends that I'm a terrible manager of other people, because I'm a very emotional person, and so I have realized that franchise and opening a bigger studio, having multiple employees, is not something I'm good at. So I always like to. So I know that I am my biggest asset in my business. So how do I monetize on me without much investment? So I've decided to start going into training others, because I think skill can be learned, but what I excel in is customer service, which I think a lot of Indian business owners and Indian entrepreneurs, I think a lot of us struggle with it, because number one, in India, like, that is not your prime focus. Yeah, your client comes in, you're not sitting and doing a consultation with them. You assume and they assume that they lie down, you'll do the service, they'll go. But I have been able to build a steady clientele because of educating them, making them understand what they're investing in. So I want to teach other lash artists. That's a goal of mine. Plus, I also want to start introducing lash extensions in a right way in India. I think that's like a lash educator, basically.
Okay, so that's where you're pivoting. Your expansion is not by setting up more Lash Shrink
No, no,
studios in different
no.
locations, but you go train people and let them start their own.
Yes, and
You're
and
going
if
to
some
create
of my
more
clients,
entrepreneurs.
absolutely, and if some of my clients want to stay with me, they'll have to pay a premium price to stay on
Nice,
board. So that
fantastic.
is the
No, no,
goal.
that's great. See, one of the greatest qualities of an entrepreneur is to create other entrepreneurs, to create more of their own,
Absolutely.
rather than try to hold everything and
And
become.
that is so important you said that, because I am also, the other thing I'm super passionate about is sharing knowledge.
Hmm.
I share a lot of free knowledge on my Instagram, on Facebook pages, because there is no fear that someone's going to take something from me. No one can do what I do the way I do it. So, what is the harm in giving away free knowledge? Because if you can better someone else's life, they're not taking anything away from you. If anything, you're making and helping them grow their business. So, I think it's very good to give knowledge, free knowledge.
Beautiful. Aruna, இது ரொம்ப interesting thought process. ஒரு வியூவர் சொல்றாங்க, paying it forward. That's the spirit. True that. So, before we wrap, I wanted to check with you. You came to the US as a dependent, and then you converted yourself into an entrepreneur, and whatever So there would have been some sort of struggle that you went through in the process, because initially you couldn't go to work, you couldn't. So how did that happen, and what did you do
I'll be
there?
very brief about it, but it's something, again, I'm very interested in communicating, talking about, is whether it's a woman or it's a man who gets married and moves to the States as a dependent, we don't realize the harm it can do to your self esteem when you're told you have no other identity than a spouse or a mom or a housewife.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
think I used that and I channeled that anger and frustration into waiting for my work authorization so I could just shoot off like a jet plane.
Got
The minute it took 13 years, I'm not going to like even sugarcoat it. It was a long wait, but the minute I got my authorization, I ran out of the house. Like, I didn't even wait and take a breath, you know. And I have to say, the positive part of having to wait 13 years is it made me so ambitious and determined, which I don't think I would have been if things had come very easily to me.
Sure. So I think you would be an inspiration to a lot of H4 dependent
Yes.
housewives who are wondering, எனக்கு வந்து ஆத்தரைசேஷன் வருமா, என்னால சொந்தமா ஏதாவது செய்ய முடியுமா, என்னால வேலைக்கு போக முடியுமா, இது மாதிரி நிறைய questions இருக்கும் அவங்க மைண்ட்ல. அதுக்கு வந்து
I would say one thing is, don't waste 13 years like I did. Use the time that you're waiting to develop some skills, go to a career counselor, try to find the niche that you can work on, and don't waste your time. Be prepared. So the minute it happens, you are not wasting even a minute.
Very nice. Super. Yeah, so that's absolutely important. So when you go into training, whenever you choose to start, are you going to do like virtual training, or are you going to do classroom training? You're going to go around the country and go to India?
So when I go to India, like I did recently before the pandemic, I really enjoyed communicating with salons over there. In that would be like a group situation, but in the US, people pay premium value for professional skills. So I would be doing one-on-one in-person training. Yeah, and then always virtually connect with them and troubleshoot with them.
Very good. So do you have a plan in terms of how many people you think you will end up coaching and training and putting into business?
One thing I am one thing I was dabbling around with is, should I make the Lash Shrink a brand of like a way to run a business, like something that someone would say, I learned from the Lash Shrink and I'm using her methods. I realized that's too much work. So I would just say, because of the intensive nature of the way I like to coach and the way I like to help, I am not anticipating, like, I would rather do quality over quantity at this point.
Terrific. Super. Aruna, it was a pleasure having
Thank you for
on the
having
show and
me.
listening to you. இது வந்து ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருந்தது, இன்ஸ்பைரிங்கா இருந்தது. நிறைய பேருக்கு இது ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்கும்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன்.
And then I want to give a shout out to my sister for introducing me
Sure.
to this platform. And yeah, she's also very inspiring. And you had her 2 weeks ago. So thank you.
Yes. So yeah, thanks to Anu and thanks to you, Aruna. Keep doing the good work. Congratulations one more time and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, Venki.
Bye. Take care. All right, Nergle. So the next guest that's already waiting in the backstage, I'm going to bring him on pretty soon. We have Chef Ashok Nageswaran. He's from St. Louis, Missouri, and he is a very, very unique entrepreneur. He does, he will do custom designed modern fusion cuisine. He's a certified culinary professional. He is graduated from the world's oldest culinary school. It's called Le Cordon Bleu. He's graduated with high honors and distinction. He's gained a specialty experience in Spanish cuisine from Spain, working with chefs from Michelin stars in Bilbao, Saint Sebastian, இது மாதிரி இடங்கள்ல. So he also worked in Australia in Ritz-Carlton. So இது மாதிரி world over work பண்ணிருக்கிறதுனால he's got some phenomenal experience in multi global cuisine. And St. Louisல என்ன பண்றாருனாக்க, he does exclusive food curation for private parties, and he also does menu curation and stuff like that. So let's quickly bring Ashok and talk to him and find out அவர் என்னெல்லாம் பண்றாருன்னு. இது மாதிரி ஒரு தமிழ் ஆண்டர்பிரினர் இது மாதிரி வித்தியாசமா பண்றது வந்து நான் கேள்விப்பட்டதே இல்லை. So while we wait to bring Ashok in, just one quick Southern Spice plug. All right. So from Aruna's session, somebody has commented that it was a nice chat. Loved how she kept it real. அது ரொம்ப முக்கியம். Thank you so much. And thanks for all the comments. Keep it coming. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Chef Ashok onto the screen. Welcome, Ashok. How are you?
Hi, Venki. Good evening. How are you doing?
வெரி குட். ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் நீங்க இன்னைக்கு ஷோல வந்தது. ரொம்ப அருமையா இருக்கு. உங்க பேக்ரவுண்டும் ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல்லா இருக்கு. ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு சன் ரூம்ல உட்கார்ந்திருக்கீங்க போல இருக்கு.
It is like, I mean, for a change, it's like we moved from St. Louis and the Charlotte. We just came to our cousin's place. I needed a little bit break, so I think it's like I took the liberty, and now let's like a different backdrop then. So thank you for inviting me over there.
Lovely. Really nice having you. And உங்களோட ப்ரொஃபைல் பார்க்கும்போதே வந்து ரொம்ப வித்தியாசமா ரொம்ப very interesting. So you went to you studied in France, you went to work in Australia. நீங்க வந்து you gathered knowledge about world cuisine, and then you're putting it to use in St. Louis. Just tell us a little bit about how you started and what you do.
I think it's like rumba complicated allowance like Vanda. I think it's basically Aruna Sonamari, I think it's like Namaka IT and it's like different knowledge along ko jakami. So in that way, I think it's like, I can just connect with her and empathize with her. So it's like namanala mudinjadu. It's like, I think it's like whatever I took to as a part-time stuff. And, when there was a sort of a right opportunity, I converted into a more of a professional thing. But but on a more serious note, I think now mostly about 15 or 16 years, I was in marketing for most of my career. So Aruna Shonamari, I think it's like I was in cosmetics for a long time. I was dabbling with diamonds with De Beers for quite a bit of time. And event management for a while, and writing instruments, luxury writing instruments. So it's like, I think I dabbled in different field, and then we moved to St. Louis as a family. It's like almost about 9 years back. And even then it's like I was with online clothing, it's like firm. But I think it's like everyone just gets that question mark in the middle of, it's sort of a midlife crisis. So you look for a question, and I think it's like there was an opportunity. I think Cordon Bleu was here in St. Louis, and I think it's like one simple thought about is there are many people, who loves cooking and who do a fabulous job. But I think it's like the one thing it's like I wanted to be sure about was, I think Pandra, that's like Tamil Paramari irukkumla seivana thirundachai அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி. So I think it's like, when you want to convert a passion into profession, you just want to go through the grind then, because you are not at 20 when you can just go, if you didn't like it, you want to come back or things like that. So now it's like, I think I went to Cordon Bleu, just, thankfully, I think it's like it worked well. And, it's like, decent aperture, I guess. And then Spanish cuisine, as you mentioned, I think it's like somewhere I was clear about it. Adala konjo speciality, because there is a lot of similarities, and I think Indian cuisine and Spanish cuisine, the culture is a bit similar. It's colorful, and a lot of spices, flavors. So I think it's like somehow I was fascinated with that. And also I think it's like I always told I think it's like maybe in my posts or other thing, I think it helped me ஒரு 3-4 மாசம். I think it's like Spainல I just underwent a bit of rigorous training. I guess that helped me, honestly, I would say, to shape up, it's like I think the professional I am today, I completely attribute that to that experience. நம்ம பழைய காலத்துல சொல்லுமே குருகுலம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி, it's something, it's like it helped you to, it made you humble. And then of course it's like you are a nobody over there, and you didn't have the tag of the marketing, and you were heading marketing, 200 people you were handling it, and across different countries. Adalla, I think it's like it just all, you didn't just, I think it's like you didn't think about it, you just focused on just purely, it's like, cooking and more cooking. Then I guess it's like it helped me to, it's like it really helped me to shape me then. So and then it's like when I came back again, I think it's the next step. Of course, you finished your sort of a formal education in that, and then you wanted to get a bit of professional guidance. So Anala, Ritz is like one of the fabulous place to just work for. I mean, a top brand. I think it's like they have, I mean, fantastic clientele. So it helped me just to learn the nuances of fine dining. I mean, how do you present it? How do you plate it? And, it's like all those stuff. Then how do you work for 500 people or 1,000 people and things like that? So it helped me a little bit of, I mean, it gave a lot of insights and understanding. Adhikaprons, like then I was with Sodexo, that is like a different level of cooking in the sense one was about fine dining, the other one was about mass, almost நம்ம சொல்ற மாதிரி ஒரு art film, and then it's like a masala one then. So the Sodexo was about how you do maybe about 250 or 300 meals in about 1 hour. Then how do you serve the customers then? So adella, it's like I think it's like once you went through a little bit of grind, I thought it's like, why don't we just make use of the marketing and then culinary and then combine it something and just see how it works then. So now that's how we started the journey about 4.5 years back, for little over about 4 years. And now I think it's like 4 years down, I still, thankfully, I'm there. I think it's like not regretting any moment then.
Nice. So coming to what you do in St. Louis, so you offer I saw that you do chef services in the sense that people can literally hire you for their private party, and you will cook up something that suits the palate of all the participants, all the people attending that event. Is that how it is?
Yeah, it's like on a broad level, you can just say, I don't want to, categorize in the broad level saying it's like it's a catering update too. So I'll just put a simple real life example. If you have an audience, let's say, from different diverse backgrounds, or Italian or Spanish or Japanese or something, and you like, it's like, let's say it's like a South Indian food. So, you might just call a caterer who might be able to give one particular cuisine. You call an Italian caterer, or it's like, a Mexican or even Indian, they will just give you one particular thing. So I think it's like the company, actually, it's like the thought point came from that is whether we don't know, it's like whether the Italian will like a vatakorambu. It's like you don't know that then. But I think it's like you like it then. But he might be polite and say it's like maybe it's like it's something different, abdinto. But I think it's like if each one of them just have something to just take back, some memories, some dishes associated with food is about memories. So it's like something to take back. Every then. So that's how we started off that. So almost there is every time when people say, hey, can you just like give us a menu? We say it's like we don't have a menu because every time it's a bit different then. So what it suits you, your guest, is completely different from somebody else then, right? So every time it's a new menu taking into consideration your guest, their preferences, their dietary, their restrictions, their favorite restaurants, their favorite ingredients. Then you just make a menu every single time. So I think we've done the last 4 years about close to about 550 or something events. But each time the menu is like, I think, different from something. There might be a couple of common items because of the popularity, but most every time the menu is like different, and that's where we play around a bit of culture fusion. It's like I think it's like together. And also I think it's like another way. This is just another point. How do I say? It's like fusion is not just about just putting two different things together. Then there has to be some commonalities between the culture, why you just created. So every time it's like you create a story around why we created the dish then. And I think it's like as we progress right from the first event to 100 or 200 little milestones, we realized, I think, people, 90% of the people don't know what they eat, what's on the plate. In the sense, they don't know the history. They don't know, it's like why it is there. It's like, I think it's like I thought it's like there was an opportunity. And being a marketeer, it's like, I think, worked with many brands and advertising agencies, storytelling. We thought it's like, okay, why can't we just create something it's like different? It's like tell the people the story about, let's say, the ingredient or the dish or the cuisine and things like that. And people said it's like, St. Louis may not be the market. You should go to Chicago, New York, or New Jersey, or things like that. But I think it's like, thankfully, I think it's like, the market has been kind, and I think it's like they embraced us and they just loved it. And I think it's like, and also we realized when you know what's on your plate, I think it's like, and the history behind that, then you develop a newfound respect for that particular dish and the ingredient, and also thereby you just develop a different perspective about the culture. Just to give an example, in that case, if you say Thai food, abdina, hey, it's like Thai food and it's like Thai curry and maybe a spring roll. We just limit that into that. But there are like 100 other things to that. Even with it's like Indian cuisine, I think there's like plenty of, I mean, 26, 28 states, each one have their own versions. So we have multiple versions. So we try to just like take a little bit of everything wherever it's possible. And if there is a need, and then just, I mean, pattern it in an international, pair it with an international dish or a wine or whatever it is. And then you just do that then. So it, I mean, and Alex, like, I think it's like it, that's why the name Food Raconteur. Actually, the name was suggested my wife actually. So Raconteur is a storyteller in French, right? So it's a food storyteller. So that's how we
I was
started.
going to ask you that. This is beautiful. You yourself came to it. நான் அடுத்த கேள்வி, உங்க கம்பெனி பேர் ஃபுட் ரெக்கவுண்டர், எப்படி அந்த பேர் செலக்ட் பண்ணீங்கன்னு தான் கேட்கலான்னு இருந்தேன். நீங்க you brought it up. So yeah,
No,
sorry.
at the first point, and the first point that's like, I think அந்த அளவுக்குலாம் அறிவில்லை நமக்கு. So now it's like I outsourced that. So I think it's like, so she suggested that, and I think it's like it sort of, it was quite apt to that then, in the sense telling food stories then. So we do every time, it's like a lot of private events, pretty niche events. So now it's like, how do I say it? I think it's like, whether it's like couple, 2 people dinner or 200 people, I think it's like we do that with the same passion and the same commitment and do that. And the second thing, it's like, as we, I mean, we moved on to the next level of business, which is into sharing the thing. Aruna Shonamari, I think it's like there is no point in holding back. I hate the word called chef's secret. I think it's like, I believe it's like, I don't believe in that then. Nama predecessors, it's like if they were holding back the secrets, we wouldn't be doing anything then. So it's like, I think it's like open world, and I think it's like we have multiple avenues and opportunities. So it's like, it's just a question of sharing everything. It's like what you have, or it's like, and it makes you a good student. A good student makes a good teacher then. So now it's like we do a lot of cooking lessons and cooking workshops. So I mean, whether it's a corporate, individuals, bachelorette, girls night out, guys night out, everything, it's like they want to, I mean, again, the same thing. There's a food underlying story behind it, and then whether you want to be participative or a demonstrative, I think it's like we do all that. The third avenue we do is like a lot of private meals. Again, they're going by the same logic. If people say, hey, it's like, I mean, I have a specific need, and I think it's like I can afford a private chef, but at the same time, I don't want the same thing, which is like the meal delivery services. I mean, they have a same thing, let's say, a little bit flavorless, not to take anything away from them, but I think it's like customization. That's what I'm just like talking about then. So if you like, it's like, let's say it's like a South Indian, Mexican, Italian, like say 4 cuisines, then why should you be forced to eat maybe any cuisine, it's like, which is like, it's like, which is not your favorite stuff then. So we try to just like create, it's like that. And then, so that has become a pretty big success. There are like select top clients in St. Louis to whom we do a bit of private meal boxes, sometimes breakfast, lunch, dinner for them, or sometimes it's a dinner delivery services, whatever, we do that. Last but not the least, we expanded to the next level is restaurant, helping the restaurants. The same thing, it's about parting the knowledge. It's like in terms of menu development and, creating the recipes. And, it's like, I think training the staff, I mean, even upselling or selling the products and everything then. So I think it's like, it's a combination of all the 4, 5 services. That's what constitutes Food Raconteur.
Superb. Southern Spice is presented with a lot of soul. This is unique. Of course, it is truly, truly unique what you're doing. Ashok, I want to show our viewers something that, that you shared with me, just so they get an idea of what I'm talking about and what you're saying.
Sure.
So let's just quickly take a look at this one. Yeah, there we go. So, Nergale, if you're watching this, take a look at this. Elegance is served. That's what Food Raconteur is all about. And they say where stories meet skill and food meets fusion, Welcome to the world of food raconteur, your personalized dining experience. So Ashok, இது வந்து it looks awesome, and there you are in your chef's jacket.
கமலஹாசன் படம் மாதிரி மார்க்கெட்டிங் பாரி ஷெஃப் பாதி கலந்து செய்த கலவை நான்.
So this is very interesting, very, very fun. So tell us a little bit about how you expanded the market, and are you specific to only the St. Louis area, or let's say, for example, I'm doing the show from New Jersey, and if I want to have a very unique private get together, will you fly down from there and do it for me here?
I think it's like a good question. I think it's like ஒரே ஒரு point. I think it's like Aruna. I think it's like I remember just listening to Aruna again. I'm just going back to that. Last year, when for the food industry, last year was not probably the greatest of years. We lost a lot of colleagues and restaurants. Everyone's like we're almost 7,000 odd food services in St. Louis around just closed. Whereas like we grown by almost 350% last year then over the previous year then. Again, the same thing. It's like we didn't rely on just one aspect of it. If I had probably started a restaurant, I don't know whether I might just be able to say the same thing. It's like, with this much satisfaction. But because it's like we expanded into multiple avenues, I think it's like it helped us a lot. To answer your question, what last year again, it's like we were not confined. I think it's like we were doing our services mostly around the St. Louis and Illinois areas. We had done a bit of Chicago, a lot of Illinois, and normally most of the consulate generals in Chicago who has a second home in Illinois, we are almost booked for the last 2 or 3 months then, because they have a multiple diverse audience, so they want a unique cuisine, so they normally block us about 5-6 months in advance then. Going back to that, I think it's like we thought it's like we would be serving this market, but last year with the pandemic, it's like we had virtual lessons and everything just became it's like suddenly famous. So earlier it was a St. Louis market, then it's like with the virtual stuff, we had clients from Brazil, Portugal, Switzerland, Spain, and Australia, and everything just coming. It's like because it's become virtual then, whether it's a cooking lessons or workshops or things like that. And to specifically address the question you raised, it's like, yes, it's like we do service other states. Of course, it's like it depends on a little bit of creative liberty. I'm saying it with a bit of all modesty, because if somebody is saying it's like, hey, it's like we are honestly, it's like rejected or probably not accepted. It's like many of the things, if you say, hey, it's like I think it's like we want you guys there, and or a paneer butter masala and a veg biryani, it's like I think it's like one. I think it's like the reason I'm again saying with utmost modesty and just with all gratefulness. We thank, it's like definitely you're considering us, but எனக்கு பண்றதுக்கு அதுல ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. Then there is no creative liberty for me to do that, and there are far better people who can just do the job in a better manner at a better pricing and things like that. We want to be honest then. So if there is like of course, to answer again your question, if there is a canvas for us, I think it's like you're giving us a bit of canvas saying, hey, this is the event, this is the theme looking at. Can you just come up with something? It's like fascinating. This is the challenges then. I think it's like that excites us then. Yes, it's like probably then we can just do that then to different places. Of course, it's like you'll take into consideration all the logistics and other stuff then. But yes, it's like we do to different places then, whether it's like New Jersey or Atlanta or even California. I think it's like we do that.
பண்றோம் ஒண்ணு இல்ல 4 பண்றோம். நியூ ஜெர்சில ஈவென்ட் பண்றோம். We are bringing you. Certainly. Ashok, so tell us, இப்போ நீங்க லாஸ்ட் இயர் நீங்க பண்ண நிறைய ஈவெண்ட்ஸ்ல வந்து எது ரொம்ப பாப்புலரா எல்லாரும் கேட்கக்கூடிய ஒரு cuisine-நாக்க, which was that, or at least even if not a general cuisine, like a dish?
General dish, no, I think it's like, again, as I said, everything, it's like it's different for us. Every recipe or every menu is like a bit different for us. So there are like, I wouldn't say it's like there are certain top ones it's like people prefer, and it depends also the diversity of the people. It's like what they specifically look for. But French cuisine has been quite a bit famous French blended with, you know, a little bit of Indian touch and things like that. But one of the popular one, I think it's like, just to quote, is there's like something called, we have done a few, but I think it's like, it was fascinating, was like around the world cuisine. It was like, I think it's like, it was well received and probably first of its kind for one of our top reality client, with for her office team of about 20 odd members. She couldn't travel anywhere because of all the restrictions, and she and her husband are high flying people. So we said like, okay, it's like, why don't we think of something innovative? So we chose one cuisine from each continent, basically. So 7 dishes from 7 continents. Antarctica and the lands like dish and then we just created that then. So the point is like, I think it's like, so she made the invite in the form of a passport. So every time it's like, I think it's like, ஒரு பாஸ்போர்ட்ல வந்து எல்லாம் ஒரு 7 continents. Before you enter every cuisine, there is a visa stamp, and then it's like we narrate the story about it. It's like why the dish, it's like what is it about, and things like that. So almost like it became a sort of a famous one and popular one, and it has never done it because different countries is okay. We just went one level further. Antarctica and Australia and then the cuisine, Antarctica and Australia and I think it's like to pick up a cuisine is not an easy thing then, especially when you have limited options then. But I think it's like that's the challenge then, and I think that's what we thrive and just cherish that then. It was a fabulous, satisfying experience. Even the cocktails for each of the drink was like from that particular continent then. So, but I think over point, I think it's like it makes you humble. I think for me, that's the personal takeaway. Besides all the, I mean, reviews or accolades or anything, it makes you humble. Humble specifically, for example, Antarctica cuisine, they normally, it's like how maybe they just grill something. It's like whatever, they just get it. But I think it's like the major dish is almost like a sort of a soup, basically. So it's nama porridge biscuit mari one. It's like they just have that. I mean, whatever it's like meat, they get it, they dry it out, and then make it as in a form of a biscuit. And that's the only thing they carry. And then the second is water. Of course, it's in abundance then. So all they do is like heat the water, boil the water, just put this biscuit and just mix it up and have it like a soup or a porridge, nama kanji madri. It's like do that then. And that's their national dish then. I think it's like it makes you humble. It's like in the sense, I mean, we waste so much of stuff and we probably don't value the stuff. Whereas somebody is like struggling to, when I say struggle, to get the right ingredients and just do the stuff then. So I think that's the takeaway, personal takeaway for me then.
Nice. So on the website browse பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கும்போது I noticed somebody had put a testimonial that நீங்க வந்து அவங்க போட்ல போய் ஃபிஷிங் பண்ணிட்டு கொண்டு வந்த ஃபிஷ்ஷை வந்து நீங்க டின்னருக்கு குக் பண்ணி கொடுத்தீங்க அப்படின்ட்டு. அத மாதிரிலாம் கூட பண்றாங்களா? They go and bring you the
கொஞ்சம் கீரை சாப்பிட்டு பாகக்காய் and வெண்டைக்காய் சாப்பிட்டதுனால I guess கொஞ்சம் மெமரி கொஞ்சம் ஜாஸ்தியாவே இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். But I think it was my 320th event, and I think this guy is the top realtor in New York. Actually, he runs it's like he owns few dozen buildings and everything. They wanted to honor their teacher. Actually, that's the reason I remember that also. Their 7th or 8th grade teacher, they wanted to just say thank you. So both these brothers, they run a realty firm, and so they just came back. It's like, and then it was an exquisite dinner for their teacher and his wife, basically then. And so they just went fishing and they just got us some fresh fish, and we just like served them. It's like in the way the teacher wanted it then, not the customer wanted, the way teacher likes it then. So a little bit of surprise elements in there. And the fish kulla, it's like we had a little bit of surprise notes. I mean, though அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் personal touch அப்பப்போ கொஞ்சம் ஏதாவது பண்ணுவோம் நான். So அதனால it's like we do a bit of personal touch. So it was a bit of surprise. I think those moments were priceless. And I think it's like every time when he opened it, there was a surprise note for him. And so it's like, I think அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய normally a lot of proposals, I think it's like maybe I think it's like I've been instrumental during using food then, because நிறைய பேர் romantic dinner பண்ணோம். I don't know how to propose. I have a gift, but I don't know. So we use food as an agent to add a bit of surprise thing in that. கேக்குக்குள்ள ringa வச்சு ஏதாவது கொடுக்கிறது, or it's like எதையாவது bake பண்றது. So it's like different thing. It's like we try to just do that thing then all the time. Surprise, I love, I mean seeing those expressions basically then. So அதனால அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது we keep always just doing that all the time then.
Lovely. That's so fascinating, Ashok. இதெல்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப யூனிக்கா இருக்கு. கேட்கறதுக்கே வந்து இது மாரி ஒரு ஷெஃப் வந்து இப்படிலாம் பண்ணது நான் பார்த்ததில்ல அட்லீஸ்ட். ஸோ ரியலி குடாஸ் டு யூ ஃபார் டூயிங் வாட் எவர் யூர் டூயிங் அண்ட் ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ்லாம் அப்படியே புட்டு புட்டு வைக்கிறீங்க. 320th இவெண்ட் இப்படி இப்படின்னு. அதுவும் ரொம்ப ஃபேசினேட்டிங்கா இருக்கு. அதுக்கு வேற இது வந்து பாவக்காய் சாப்பிட்டா ஞாபக சக்தி நல்லா இருக்குமா?
கொஞ்சம் it's like அப்படின்னு சொல்லி it's like maybe I think it's like when you are a child I think they give all the stuff no பாவக்காய் சாப்பிட்டா இது கீரை சாப்பிட்டா இதுன்ட்டு so I think it's like it's interesting then so அதனால I think and I think it's like another thing I mean பாவக்காய் இந்த மாதிரி saffron சாப்பிட்டா அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது it's like சொல்லிட்டே இருப்பா but I think it's like even for your viewers or something நம்ம just the reason I just normally give it to the students when I go to schools for talks, basically talk about food wastage or probably the emphasis of eating the right balance. I think I do that in my spare time because I think it's sort of giving back to the community. And so it's like sometimes like you ask somebody, na saffron potu kungumpu paal kudikren or I just had a saffron risotto abdimba. I think it's like we don't realize how difficult it is. We know that it's expensive, but ஒரு பவுண்ட் சாஃப்ரன் வேணும்னா ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஒரு 190,000 ஃப்ளவர்ஸ் யூ ஹாவ் டு மேனுவலி பிக் இட் மேனுவலி ஒவ்வொன்னா யூ நீட் டு பிக் ஸோ இமேஜின் ஐ திங்க் இட்ஸ் லைக் த அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் எஃபர்ட் அண்ட் எவ்ரி திங் ஒரு 250,000 ஃப்ளவர்ஸை ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஒரு half a football ground ஃபுல்லாக மெதுவாக ஒவ்வொன்னா எடுத்து இட்ஸ் லைக் இஃப் யூ அக்யூமுலேட் அண்ட் ட்ரை ரோஸ்ட் இட் அண்ட் தென் யூஸ் இட் தட்ஸ் வே யூ கெட் it's like saffron கிடைக்கிறது. So when you tell that they have a newfound respect for that ingredients, what I think it's like I take it for granted. So little bit in the time the school normally career talks when I just go that I think we emphasize on different part of it. Then inga meat I think it's like nariya irkum. So everyone says hey I like filet mignon or a tenderloin everything. ஒரு 2400 2500 pound கவுல ஒரு filet mignon or it's like ஒரு 5 ounce is like hardly ஒரு you know, it's like I think it's like hardly a pound or couple of pounds maximum then. So we tell the people, I think it's like one, it's like not to waste. The reason I'm just saying that is it takes 24 months or 22 months from its birth to the final output of one filet mignon. Just because we get a frozen stuff in the market, nama thaw panni grill panni, it's like you just eat it and you don't just value that thing then. So it's like I think it's like we try to do that. We try to tell the students. I think it's like the importance of it. And so then next time when they just have that, I feel at least I'm hoping or 100 பேருக்கு சொன்னா at least if it's like one person just looks at it, I believe it's a success for me then.
Amazing. Ashok, பேசிண்டே இருக்கலாம். நீங்க வந்து you have so much to tell and so much to talk about. எல்லாமே ரொம்ப கேட்கறதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஃபேசினேட்டிங்கா இருக்கு பட் we are running up against the clock. I have 2 minutes to go, so any closing thoughts that you'd like to leave our viewers with, and if people want to find and reach out to you, how can they do that? அதையும் சொல்லிடுங்க.
I think it's one, I think it's like eat responsibly. I think it's like don't waste food. I think it's like hopefully it's like maybe few years down the line I want to probably using the food. We won last year the St. Louis Most Innovative Business Award for using food as a catalyst to bring the people together then. So we won from the mayor. It's like last year it's like we got that. So definitely I think it's like they can just reach out with our, whether it's an FB page or an Insta page, or we have the contact detail. More than happy to just like talk about. And it doesn't need to be, it's like everything is not about commercial. Even if people have any queries or questions or something, more than happy to do that. Maybe konjanalla we might just be having a different YouTube channel. It's like on some unique concepts we are working on. So hopefully I think it's like we might be able to reach out to a more wider audience then.
Beautiful. The food raconteur. Thank you so much, Ashok. Thanks for taking your time. Vacationல இருக்கும்போது கூட நம்ம Southern Spice showல வந்து participate பண்ணதுக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நன்றி.
Thank you, Venki. It's like a wonderful show. Keep doing the good job. And over here, and of course I see updates and everything through Punarjanam. I will just do my best. It's like whatever it's like I can. So thank you again for it's like doing a great job then. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashok. Enjoy the rest of your vacation and we will be in touch.
Thank you, Venki. Take care. Good night.
Take care. Bye. All right, Nergle. So that brings us to the end of today's Southern Spice. One more time, Punarjanmam, punarjanam.org, punarjanm.org. If you'd like to go and donate, I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. அடுத்த வாரம் புதன்கிழமை இன்னும் 2 இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் கெஸ்டோட நான் உங்களை சந்திப்பேன். அதுவரை உங்களிடமிருந்து விடை பெறுவது உங்கள் நண்பன் வெங்கி. டேக் கேர், பி சேஃப்.